And this is new construction, as you can see. The nicest thing in here is that ladder.
If you're in the market to buy a new house, I'll say this, much. Do not buy a house after 2020. You wanna know why?
Okay, so today we're going over some new construction builds. Single-family homes, apartment buildings, townhouses, it does not matter, because as time goes on, there only seems to be more examples on how poorly these structures are made. From the homeowners with buyer's remorse dealing with all of these horror stories, to the inspectors having never-ending content to upload on TikTok because of how embarrassing all of this has gotten, and even the builders themselves warning people to not purchase the properties they're building. I mean, it's truly unbelievable. We have a lot to go over today, along with comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with somebody who's actually building these houses for a living. If this isn't the biggest warning sign to not buy, I don't know what is.
What's up, what's up? Listen, if you're in the market to buy a new house, I'll say this, much. Do not buy a house after 2020. You wanna know why? Okay, I'll show you why. Hold on. Most of these houses go up in 4 days. No joke. We pour the foundation. They don't even wait a day for it to cure. Not even a day. I want you to see something real quick. Look at that. Oh, look at how even that is. Yep. Wait a second. No, that's not even the start of it. I mean, I'm going all over this place and see how far off they are. Look at that. Oh man, I know I'm not buying a house. A brand new house. If you want something good, you gotta do it yourself. I mean, look at that. Oh my, no. No, this is not the kind of quality you want to have. I mean, this is weak at what it is.
And I'm gonna have to cut off almost every single clip we're watching today because it just goes on and on with more examples on how shoddy the work is. But we could go over to the comments. As an electrician, I approve. The amount of shortcuts in the trade industry from every trade is ungodly. Buy an older home and remodel. Dude's roasting his own crew on the site. I worked in real estate and managed past clients, and the amount of people who absolutely hated their DR Horton homes is crazy. They always had expensive repairs within the first year, and DR Horton almost always basically told them sorry. And then the comment right after that just closed on one a week ago. As someone who works in the construction office, he's not lying. It makes sense why people go every day to check on their house getting built. After 2020 is generous. Personally, I'd say after 08 or later. All the realtors I know live in older homes. Very odd, right? And they're also $500,000. He's not lying. I watched a whole 5-bedroom house get built in 2 weeks down the street. The comments go on and on. The more I watch these videos, the more important it becomes to get a very solid inspector like this.
You know it's going to be a good inspection when you pull up and the real building city code inspector is out front getting ready to inspect the same house that you're getting ready to inspect. Okay, met with the city inspector, great guy. He brought me over here to the side of the house and he said, hey Jordan, look at this. You see this expansion joint here? Well, this expansion joint is sealed here, but it's not sealed up here. Okay, all finished up with the city inspector. He needs that expansion joint sealed up and then this place is ready to go. Now let's see what I come up with. Well, they were kind enough to install a doorstop. But the problem is the door handle. Nobody will notice. I wonder if they're trying to hide something. Yep. Look at the toilet here. I can't believe they were gonna leave it like this.
Again, this clip goes on for about 2 more minutes showing all of the other issues that of course the builders just ignored, didn't care about, said that it was completely done. The city inspector found one issue and then wiped his hands clean, drove away, said it was completely fine to sell, even though there are a host of other problems that you have to deal with before this should be able to be sold. I just can't believe that new construction is this bad nowadays. Another comment saying DR Horton, good guess, but can't confirm. Some of the rules that the inspector has to follow are just absolutely wild. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the video. They can't just out all of these terrible builders. They'll actually get in trouble, as crazy as that sounds. But we have a comment from one of you guys. As I've said before, there needs to be a lemon law for houses just like cars. Builders should have to buy back defective homes, and the deed should reflect on when they try to resell it. However, since we started going over this topic, there are almost no repercussions. The only thing that could really hurt their business is putting this up on social media, the home buyers showing all of the shoddy shoddy work, their house falling apart. Some of the clips end up going viral, get some traction. More people know to stay away from these builds, but in the end, the original purchaser is basically screwed. On top of an ever-increasing home price, the repair bills are not cheap either. I mean, just from the entranceway from the next clip we're about to see, how expensive do you think this home is?
Here's the new home. Comes with a shoe print right in the front entryway. Jamb is split where they screwed in the latch plate. A little loose. Under the kitchen sink. Looks like they forgot that cover for the junction box. That's all right, it's moving ready. There's the oven. It's been on for about 10 minutes and it's still at 100 degrees, which means it's not heating at all. The garage wall, the sill gasket is out of place. On the roof, this fascia got cut with a hammer, leaving a nice gap. Custom flashing detail here. Just overlap it and bend it. Couple shiners here. They're not sealed down because there are nails underdriven below them.
And going over what these inspectors find, we have a comment from one of you guys. My husband is a home inspector in Florida, and when someone requests a home inspection on big builders' new builds, DR Horton, Clayton Homes, all of them that you've heard of, the selling agent follows him around and he's not allowed to touch the electric panel, run appliances, which would have been a problem for the homeowners in the last clip if they didn't go over the oven not heating, get near the roof, move anything for testing, and has a time restriction. It's unbelievable. So honestly, a good amount of the problems just from the previous example wouldn't have even been allowed to be looked at. And with this comment being in Florida, I think it's a good transition into the next one.
This is how your new Lennar homes are being built. Wood framing. How do we feel about that? Ultimately, this is what the product would look like, but this is wood framing here in Florida.
That's insane. I thought concrete block was building code for the first level. What part of Florida is this? Cheap as possible, termites can't wait to move in. Wood framing has been around forever. Where have you been? In an area prone to getting hurricanes like Florida? That's crazy. I'm on the coast of South Carolina. Everything I see is wood framing. That's literally 90% of new builds. Florida and even South Carolina, if you're in the Charleston area, gets hit with hurricanes all the time. Sounds like a recipe for disaster if you ask me. Oh, Lennar Homes, because nothing screams Florida dream home like a builder who treats hurricane country like it's the Midwest in springtime. These absolute geniuses slap together houses with the structural integrity of a wet cardboard box. And you wonder why insurance prices are going through the roof, especially when we're talking about Florida. These houses would legitimately fall apart constantly with the storms. Welcome to Florida, where we have flying termites. All the new apartment complexes around Southwest Florida are the same way as well. And we have an example of that up on screen right now. Wood framed apartments in Florida rotting out before they even open. Nobody's living in it yet and it's already falling apart. Guaranteed to be labeled as luxury apartments. I would put money on it. Mind you, they're building 7-story apartments out of wood, especially in Orlando. Only takes one person to forget a stove on. Very good point as well. Wood framed houses and apartments in Florida should be illegal. Termites have entered the chat. The same comments over and over again. Everybody realizes that this is a bad idea. But these places are being built up in record time. We have a comment from you guys. My town approved a 12-home development. The footprint of these homes are all between 3,000 and 4,200 square feet. They all started development June 18th and today is September 2nd. All 12 homes have been sold and now fully occupied. You would never convince me that they were built with any level of quality or pride. It's a clear churn and burn job. And I think we have the perfect example of that, the lack of quality and pride when they're building these homes. Definitely a DR Horton home. He's there for the income, not the outcome, and you wonder why all these homes suck. Must be a DR Horton home again. At least everybody knows about that one particular builder. I hate builders who hire people like this. I hate the supervisors who allow this even more. I mean, some of the thought process or lack of thought process when these homes are being built are absolutely astounding.
Got some new condos built in my neighborhood. You gotta hop the curb to get in your car garage. It's pretty cool. This is my favorite one yet. Look at this garage. For real? What the?
They're legitimately just copying and pasting, not caring if it makes sense at all. So it's really not surprising to me when I start seeing videos like this.
I find it so interesting that most people don't want to buy a new construction home anymore. I did this video the other day, screenshot here, and I asked, yay or nay to new construction homes? And the majority of the comments were nay. Just because of the quality of build and people's opinions. A lot say it depends on the builder. People are just saying from all these different states, like, no, I bought this new construction home. I'm having all these issues. I'm better off buying something built 30, 40, 50, 60 years ago. I just find that so interesting. People were definitely not saying that 30 years ago when it comes to new construction homes. Times have changed.
Custom build? Sign me up. Corporate build? Absolutely not. I would still say if you had enough money to custom build your own house, like we saw with a comment earlier, you'd have to be there every day, basically hovering over, micromanaging the builders just so they don't cut corners. They would still screw you over. So if you have a normal 9-to-5 job, that would be incredibly difficult. I do insurance claims full time. Most claims are from condos and new construction. I'm not living in a cardboard new construction home that looks exactly like my neighbor's. That was also built 5 feet from the next house that has no parking or lawn and ridiculous HOA fees. Now, the last time we went over this, we did start seeing new stats that the new construction builds were starting to become cheaper than what was already there, along with very interesting marketing tactics like this.
Here at Adams Homes, the prices are falling. We're offering up to $20,000 in flex cash. Come on in.
Why do you think they have to make funny TikToks like this and then give you $20,000 off right away? I initially thought that these types of examples and what went viral on social media was starting to deter a majority of people looking for a home currently, until I start seeing clips like this.
So something pretty interesting is happening in the housing market right now, specifically about new construction. So due to record cancellations in July, new home sales were expected to decline going into August. But clearly that assumption could not have been more wrong, as new home sales have exploded 20.5% month over month. This is the biggest month-over-month increase since August of 2022. And a big reason for this could be the fact that new home prices are actually cheaper than existing home prices right now. Realtor.com shows us that new builds are going for around $218 per square foot versus $226 for resales. Add that with the fact that builders typically offer a lot of incentives like rate buy downs and even contribute towards closing costs. It really is no wonder why we're seeing this type of surge in the new home market.
So unfortunately, those price cuts worked, jumping up 20% in one single month. And of course, that doesn't mean the quality got any better. That just means it was a little bit cheaper than what was already out there, and a ton of people started signing on the dotted line. Especially if you start looking up this type of topic, there are a ton of sponsored posts like this.
Only minutes into finishing touches and close to completion here in Richmond, Texas. A recent price reduction just brought this home under $400,000 with a down payment around $13,000 and closing cost credits. Out-of-pocket expenses are minimal.
So I mean, just one after another with the price incentives, price cuts. They're just trying to sell these houses like hotcakes, and then they'll move over to another plot of land and do the exact same thing town after town. This problem goes very well with a comment from you guys. Real simple. If people keep buying trash, other people will keep making it, and the prices will continue to climb. And we're not just talking about single family homes either. The apartment complexes and townhomes are in the same boat.
They building all these damn apartments and ain't nobody gonna be able to afford this.
Paper thin walls, hearing the neighbors breathing, smelling the neighbors' meals, and feel the neighbors walking. $2,000 a month for 600 square feet. Sounds like perfection to me. Looks like Florida. They've been knocking down 7-Elevens, Burger Kings, and Starbucks just to build new apartments. Enough is enough, especially when you see them in low income, but charging $3,500 for 3 bedrooms is crazy. Speaking of how nuts some of these apartments have gotten, we could take a look at this one. I can't even believe that this is a real thing.
So y'all, I just came to this unit and I'm like, dang, they couldn't clean up before I come? Whatever, it's cool. I come outside and I notice I'm right in front of the jail. I am right in front of the jail. Look, you see? Hey, turn up, turn up. I got the jail lit. That is so funny. They playing basketball down there. And they have a perfect view of this unit. So yeah, for only $3,000, you and your best friend could rent this 2-bedroom, 2-bath unit at downtown 5th Miami. Corner unit, lots of natural lighting. You know, everything else gonna get cleaned up. It's just the view. You know, if you don't mind having friendly neighbors, they right here.
I still can't believe it. $3,000 a month to be across from the jail that they could see into your apartment. You really can't make this stuff up. We're gonna read some of the 20,000 comments on this video. This is so dangerous with almost 170,000 likes. The rent should actually be cheaper just because of that. It is. $3,000 is a deal. Doesn't sound like a deal to me. $3,000 for a view of the prison. Miami is unhinged. I know those inmates know the schedules of everyone's units facing the jail. I'm truly at a loss for words on this one. I don't know how this is a sell for anybody. On top of the almost guaranteed amenities that they'll try to put on you, they got the gym, they got the pool, the ping pong table, all of which you're never going to use to pay a top dollar price for the new construction luxury builds.
Apartment amenities are the funniest thing of all time because you'll be on a tour and the leasing agent's like, yeah, here's this big open room with a couple couches in it. You can have parties here, but you're not allowed to have guests. Oh, we have a ping pong table. Get this. We're the only building in Tampa with an Olympic-sized ping pong table. The only one. Oh, do you guys have a hot tub? No hot tub, but ping pong table Olympic-sized. And besides the common room that you'll never use once in your entire time living here, we're the only building in Tampa with the gym on the 10th floor. Those other guys that have it on the 8th floor, the 6th floor, our gym, 10th floor. Oh, and the rent? $3,000 a month.
I know that they try to advertise this heavily with apartment complexes, but if you're in one of those single family home communities, they have the exact same thing. You're paying a ludicrous price for HOA fees every month. They have some sort of building with the same type of amenities nobody ever uses. And overall, it's just a complete waste of money. And the only time you really see this is with new construction homes. My apartment flexed their dog park and dog spa. I moved in 10 months ago and they've been under construction ever since.
New home inspection. The widow's already living here. Window, brick sill, completely uneven, no weep hole cover, and a big gap in the corner. The grading is too low along the foundation here at this corner. Must have ran out of caulk.
Now with this specific clip, there are many more examples of gaps throughout the entire house, with black widow spiders already being on the outside. That means it's pretty easy to get inside the house as well. That alone would probably make me turn around and never look at that house again.
Here we are, new construction at a rough wall inspection. Now check this out. I thought I'd share this with you. As I walk by, you can see the light blinking through the black. I think we forgot a little something. And this is new construction, as you can see. The nicest thing in here is that ladder. That ladder and the breaker box that just zipped past. Yeah, let me know what you think. You can't make this stuff up.
Why did the framers even bother to build on top of this? Helen Keller Construction at your service. They were going for a rave light show as you could dance around in the cellar. How were they able to build the rest without a foundation inspection? No permit and no inspection equals who knows what's going on here. The carpenter must play Fortnite. Not one person said anything before this. It honestly feels like there are basically no restrictions. Nobody's checking anything. You truly don't know how your house is built unless you get one of these type of inspectors to go through every nook and cranny.
So I'm working on a new build here, and this is the kind of electrical we are doing. Really kind of liking it, but then I get into the HVAC stuff and I wonder how the hell is work like this in a new build, how all this is acceptable. What a complete mess. Look at all the vents. I'm sure they run it all to one place to keep the roof penetrations down. But look at that. All of them from all over the house.
This is not acceptable. The plumbing looks even worse. The creator responds, I didn't even focus on that one. Absolute garbage HVAC work. But we have an interesting comment from one of you guys. If you don't know which home inspector to hire, ask your builder which inspector you should stay away from and then go hire that inspector. It sounds like a pretty good tactic to me. They would be the one nitpicking all of these builders, trying to cut corners any way they can. I've talked about it before. You should try to see if there are TikTok creators in your area that make these inspection videos, because it seems like they actually go through the house and find all the problems instead of somebody just running through, checking all the boxes and saying that it's fine. Unfortunately though, even with the videos that I make and all of these different examples, we still see people like this that don't realize that they're stuck until it's too late.
So how about I'm supposed to be closing on my DR Horton build home next week, and now all I see on my TikTok feed is how crappy the builds are. Drop some comments in the comments below about things that you've had trouble with. That way, when I do my walkthrough prior to closing, I can know exactly what to look for and make sure that they fix it. Because apparently, new builds from DR Horton are not the wave.
I personally just don't understand it, because this is probably the most expensive purchase that any of us are going to make in our lifetime. And not doing research on the builder before you get into this situation just seems insane to me. I purchased a new build from DR Horton and had a third-party inspector. Do not rely on DR Horton's inspector. Do not close on your house until your punch list is 100% complete. If you do, you'll regret it later. Do not let them pressure you to close until everything is fixed. I specifically remember an example from, I think the account was Inspector Randall, where he was going through one of these builds for the third time. But even after making a third video on the same house, he was still finding problems. But I guess you just have to push through all of that and not get pressured to close, because then it turns into your problem. I'm a realtor and they're all crappy. I know we've been harping on DR Horton Homes pretty heavily on this video, talked about Lennar Homes a little bit, but there are much more companies to look out for. There's another clip up on screen. POV, your 2-year-old Clayton home is falling apart. I know a bit more about Clayton Homes because they are decently close to where I live in North Carolina, and I've seen a lot of problems with them as well. I'm scared. I've seen so many bad things about Clayton Homes, and we're set to close on November 20th. You think you're having a bad day? Somewhere someone just bought a Lennar home with a $100,000 discount and capped interest rates, then saw my video and realized that many others are suing because our homes are deemed uninhabitable in less than 2 years from mold and construction defects. So those discounts and incentives we saw earlier might come back to bite you, especially if you bought a Lennar home. As someone who owned a Lennar home and left it in 2023, I would never buy it again. Thank you for posting. I was just looking at Lennar homes. Another one here answering some questions about my crappy Clayton built home, just going through all the issues as well. A class action needs to be taken against this company. When the father was in charge of the company, it was amazing. Since the son took over maybe 8 to 10 years ago, Clayton has done a nosedive. It's even crazy to see how bad the quality of the materials they're using to build these homes up at record pace in the first place.
This is a new neighborhood, brand new home. Look at the roof condition. These shingles are all beat up. These are in really rough shape. Too much exposure here. Those nails, all this. Look at the house next door. Look at all that damage. Damaged shingle. More damage over here. There's a cut shingle. There's one of the attic vents. All the exposed nails. Shingles are buckled up on the side here. They weren't trimmed right.
And I think we'll end this video with a comment from you guys. In the early 2000s, my aunt's house was burned down from a fire. She was properly insured, and when they rebuilt the house, all the plumbing was replaced with plastic lines. The original house was copper. A few years later, the walls were leaking, and the insurance company said to kick rocks. She fought and eventually won. It's crazy how everyone in this world is looking to screw you over with the smallest advantage. This is kind of an overarching theme on a lot of the topics we go over on both of my channels. You just have to be extremely well aware with almost anything in today's world, because I have to agree, it sounds like almost everybody is trying to screw you over one way or another. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.